You already know the vibes. It's Naga. We about to get into this incremental science class 21B and 22. Let's get to it. You already know the vibes. All right, so hold on, because I got to share the screen real quick. All right. So let me just adjust this real quick. Okay. And we about to cook.
This is a very fun time for me to explain this second part of Incremental Science 21. And if you're watching and you get a chance to understand what I spoke about in part A or the first part, all these things are sitting inside of you ready to be activated. Like you play with them outside of yourself. You light a lighter. You deal with electricity. You use water. You feel the air. You walk on the ground. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is you're too used to utilizing these things as if they're not components of yourself. You're too used to utilizing these things as if they're not a part of you.
You know what's dope about these things, though? Like the fire is for purification, right? The fire is for purification. The water is for bringing forth life. The wind is for being free within your actions, and the ground is for stability. So you're supposed to be able to call on all these things and um be able to use them within your spiritual connection to people. So therefore you continue or have a continuance with the divine flow through everyone's life, not just your own, through everyone's life.
And then you put a lot of that process energy shows like the negative resonance to what these things are because you have to use these things in order to make the process situations. Everything that collides in chemistry to make an outcome is an elemental aspect, meaning with spark and matter, you can get fire, stuff of that nature.
Deeper than that, you create other elemental factors with your character, like depending on how you're clashing certain things, other creations come out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was listening to somebody speak the other day, and they was talking about when anger takes place, you literally conjure up negative entities with your anger, with screaming, hollering, and stuff like that. You conjure up negative entities with your anger, and those entities got to be somewhere. They got to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? I was schooled on that as an aspect of reality. So, and it took me a personal while to learn from a lot of particular mistakes that I dealt with coming up as a youth. You know what I'm saying? Because keep in mind, we all don't have those values that we need to be in a stable mentality or a stable situation that's going to grow you to a certain situation, especially if you came up from the hood. So there's always a grace given when you don't know. If you don't know, that's something different. But if you are cognizant of what you're doing and you just don't want to stop what you're doing, that's something different too. You know what I mean? So divine even has a grace for the children who don't know, opposed to the people who are acting out of their own understanding. You know what I'm saying? So that's a thin line as well.
But what's more important here in this value? The most important thing in this value that we resonated on particular values. You have people who come into a astrology aspect who carry more of a fire tendency to their ways. They like to keep things going. They're up in fire. You know what I'm saying? They always got that fire energy. That get moving energy. You got us, the water, the flow. You know what I'm saying? The creativity, the life giver. You have the wind, the spacey mindness, the free going energy. You have the earth, the stability, the solid, the rugged. You know what I'm saying? These things are resonant in each individual person. But to know this about yourself is something completely different. Once you know these things about yourself and you can harness the value of what that is in these things for you, meaning, how would you give this to the world? As water, how would I give flow? I would give flow by giving unconditional love. That's straight from the divine. That is the ultimate flow. It is not rocket science, you know what I'm saying? And find that within the divine for each one of these pretenses for yourself. It'll show you the comparison of what you can gain. So
It's deep because fire can burn, but it also can liberate. Water can drown, but it also can give life. You know what I'm saying? Wind can confuse, but it also can liberate. Earth can cover and bury, but it also can be stability. So this is what it means by how are you using your concept of your reality as far as who you are as an individual. You know what I'm saying? These things are important, but divine doesn't let nothing go farther than being what's fair. So you had to understand when working with these particular values, where do you stand? Because it's a very thin line in between you standing with the divine aspect of uplifting and you are mentally challenging individuals unbeknownst to they know you're challenging them. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of paints a picture with those connections to those roots. And this is why divine helps. What is it? Babies, fools, and something else, whatever.
so if I'm given the flow of unconditional love through the aspect because I'm water, then I gain etheric understanding. It's its counterpart. It's its universal, it's its universal higher self. The higher self to these elements are these: spark, ether, ripple, force ripple, and matter. They're the highest concepts. So if matter came from the universe and came down to earth, it would be a precious mineral or some rocks, but it'll still be stronger than the composition of what we deal with today. So understanding this value and how these things exist, they're saying when you find out more of how you are with this and you can deliver these things in a divine pretense, then you can gain its universal higher self. Knowing that becoming knowing that this is yourself, and when you understand these principles within yourself, you begin to become wise, and you begin to connect from where you are in the place of existence to the point of existence. Okay, to where the Most High created the all-knowing aspect, the great womb. It connects you, and that mission in between there is wisdom. That's how you're able to gain more wisdom, because you learn to know yourself on this scale of reality. You learn to know yourself on this scale of reality. You learn to know yourself completely on this scale of reality. And when you can give this of yourself in this scale of reality, you gain its higher aspect of universal principle. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Because now the powers, it seems, that you gain from being yourself is something that the people who are still struggling to be just themselves don't know what you're doing. They don't know what this is. They like, yo, how are you able to do that?
It's the concept of everything within those pretenses. So once you understand your aspect as far as who you are and how divine created you, and you master doing that. Like I've heard people say, I do this, and I get treated certain ways. But it's not seen like that in the aspect of the divine. I've even said that. Like I've been good to people and had it come back. I've heard people tell me I've treated them wrong in whatever aspect, but then divine sees all. Divine knows the intention of the heart. So Majority of the time, man's mind is what's the consequent value. Like the mind is tricky in itself. The mind will make you believe falsities. So deeper than that understanding, like divine has the liberation aspect for you. There's nothing more pure than divine's unconditional love. And if you can't find that within your life, you're lost in its own action. Like what person is too big to be forgiven? What person is too what person is too small to offer forgiveness? What person is too large to accept forgiveness? Like in this aspect of life, everything is imperfect because the flesh is created off the inanimate objects. And with those things being the particular value where your light is housed at, your light is housed inside of an imperfect creation. So having patience and giving this extra step, these extra miles that we walk for each other is the purpose. To have a short temper, to be angry, to be explosive at every little thing that takes place in life is a detriment. And believe me, before I became fully in my mentality, I was very explosive. You know what I'm saying? So I know what that looks like. You know what I mean? Because I was tired of being played with. I went through so much shit as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like as I became a young man, you was not about to play with me. I didn't give a damn who you was. You was not about to play with me. And if that was the case, we could fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I had that as an issue growing up. You know what I mean? But then as I got older, Divine would school me through particular potentials and show me how everything is a grace. There's a grace period for everybody in existence. There's a grace period for the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? So to pick up that weight, that's another journey. Because and keeping in mind when we walk through life, we're going through journeys on the value of how we encounter. So you might have to be strong enough to lift a particular weight. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with trying to pick up that weight. But best believe that weight is going to try to be more heavier than what it is. And with divine, anything is possible. I believe with unconditional love, anything is possible. So even if even if the individual can't see through their own retrospective action, this is why you let the cooling waters of the ether flow through. This is why you let the stability of the ground stand. This is why you let the purifying fire come through. This is why you give the liberation air. This is why we start to tap into all concepts of elemental factors that came from the existence of the universe. Because as it is in the universe, it is here on earth in the same. So there were burning fires, there were destruction force, there were drowning ethers, there were unstable materialistic values in the universe. These things are counterparts of reality. Yeah, counterparts of reality that actually took place. So nothing that you have for yourself is just yours. It's an existence that happened prior to you even being existing. So understanding these things in the retrospect of divine union and divine understanding the universe, we have to look up and see that as a comparison, as above, so below.
How do you know these things? Nobody told you. I don't need you to tell me. I'm telling you what divine said. Facts.
Facts.
You know, ain't no man, ain't no what kind of man gonna stand over the authority of divine? What kind of man would stand under another man and forget about it? I can't even play with y'all on that aspect because it'll hurt people's feelings if I get because my point of view on things is so different and it's so real because it was given to me by the divine. So a lot of things I don't say because I know if I say it to certain people, it's gonna hurt their feelings. Period. You're just gonna either get mad at me or you're gonna find something to say about me because ultimately it's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
And see, this is what I know already. Like regardless, like, and it's like people are so afraid of the Most High, yo, and they don't even know they're afraid of the Most High, but their actions speak to that value. So then you run to everything else in the world to try to build up the strength to try to say whatever the value. Like this is why I don't really be saying much. Divine knowledge is so dangerous sometimes, but it's also liberating. You know what I mean? It's dangerous to the mind, almost like that movie The Matrix when dude was like, we don't free your mind until, like, you know what I mean, a certain age because it's dangerous. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we Neo threw up on the joint, he's like, sometimes we just don't, how we knew what dude said about freeing the minds or whatever. So it's like that, like in some sense, but some people are not ready for that understanding. And lack thereof of that, I'm always be a child of the Most High, regardless of what it looks like. I'm gonna always work for the Most High, no matter what it looks like. And Divine knows me in and out, through and through. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be judged by nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And only thing I do is deliver the word of the Most High, no matter how nobody sees it. You know what I'm saying? And most people won't like what Divine is saying. You know what I mean? But that's a reality everybody must come to soon or later.
And then divine don't make mistakes. People do. So with that being said, where we at 5:43? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So understanding that there's a counteracted value with everything that you try to understand. Now it can start getting hyperactive because once you understand your base, which is my base, I came as water, right? But I was created from fire and earth. See what I'm saying? I was created from fire and earth. So once I start understanding myself, the makeup of myself, the makeup of what made my creators and what made them and what they and I started to see that I'm attached to everything. So once I balance out the one and then I balance out the all, then I gain the all. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm just trying to show you. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't talking about nothing. But if you like being over and you appreciate this, I'm glad you are a Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Share. But no, you can't share. This is only for you. Almost got lost. Like I forgot I was not on YouTube. Don't share, but enjoy it because I got more for you to come. If you're interested in the things I got, I will be uploading more art. I got over 6,000 art pieces of original concepts that I did. If you like them, contact me if you can't download it. But if you can download it, go ahead, take it for yourself. Put it in a frame. Put it in your house somewhere. You know what I mean? Love. Old music coming. More concepts. About to start working on the book and a comic. So all that'll be in here soon. Just stay with me. It's gonna be a long walk, but it's gonna be enjoyable. You already know the vibes. Naga.
Yeah, yeah, you already know the vibes, y'all. So yeah, it just made me realize I forgot I had other things going on that I was supposed to get back to. I know as soon as I get back in the right position, I'm definitely going to pick back up on where I left off at. You know what I mean? But we're gonna go ahead and jump into Incremental Science 22. I wanted to play, matter of fact, I could play it for y'all. It's been a while since I played the Universal Superheroes. I ain't listened to it in a while, but I think I want to play it right now for some reason. So I'm gonna play that Universal Superheroes real quick. Come on, let me scroll. Let me scroll. Okay, here we go. Play Universal Superheroes real quick.
I like my cheese steak, gorgonzola. Back from the dead, cold hearted like the Arctic polar. Universal thought, nah, I can't see my solar. No feeling from your touch, cause your love is over. TOC, scream my name, but you know it's me. Spit Royal, King Bars, God MC. I'm still an illest MC, and I don't care who you be. Still that natural rhyme killer, smooth with a T. Everything is universal, and my thoughts is power. If I think it, I create it, ain't no minutes and hours. I absorb all energy, my radiation is power. If I started radiating, and I'll be giving you cancer. On the middle of the year, the middle kids, the middle verse. So the middle part of me is a crust of the universe. No creation started with me first, as I disperse. If I never was created, then we all fall apart. I'm like a transformer when I spit. We all spark. I ain't hear what you saying. I'm birthed with all heart. The direction is my own, and I follow my own road. I ain't a soul in my body, and body my own soul. GOZ. Power, power, one power, 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 GOZ. Power, no one man. Focus on the mission at hand, who lose the plan. I ain't trying to tell you who is, nigga, I am the man. created first and second just to put me at the back. I don't care where you put me, I look good doing that. You get lost up on the map and I ain't worried about that. Cause genetically I am the king and ruler of this track. What the fuck you think this is? What you think you got me lost? I was born a king out this bitch nigga, baby off the jaw. This a damn shame, Adrian had to name me after jaw. Yeah, my life on leave a scar, they should've named me El Sharar. Because the God that sent me nigga about to tear this bitch apart. I ain't worried about what you gon' do, I'm killing them to the two. I was first step in the third, boy, you also know how to do it. This is universal superhero, the title of the track with me. Born takes gravitation, this universal track being prominent, dominant, all around more. Houdini spinning up my spine, pushing like a cipher. Hit my solar flare, call it universal fighter. You think they may want to touch the skin, universal fire, that's bad. They may want to touch the skin, universal fire, that's bad. They may want to touch the skin, universal fire, that's bad. Universal fire, that's bad. Universal fire, that's bad. Power, no one man has that much power. You must stop. No one man has that much power. You stop.
How much love are you willing to put into yourself? How long will it take for you to do so? Do you look at everything outside of yourself to satisfy how you feel about you? Or do you thirst to see if you can learn more about what you are and who you are? How much love will you put into you? It's not a hard question, but being confused about what you should put into yourself and calling that love is a problem most people face. How much love do you have to put into you? Taking the time to learn your place in the universe. What does that mean to you? How much love do you have to put into you?
Incremental Science 22. I hope y'all like that little intro right there. Yeah, there's no PowerPoints because we're just going to speak and I'm going to talk to you about particular things that go out of the sight of what simple things seem to be. This is me attempting to get people to understand or take more serious certain particular values that we may just look lightly as and don't put the effort in as severely as we should. Like some things you don't put the effort in, but they're 10 times or 100,000 times um more effective and useful than your normal basis of everyday living. So with that being said, let's build real quick. This illustration that I did is particularly a person who is on the highest meditation form, and it starts to look cartoonish. When in fact, the longer you stay in meditation, and those who has or have ever meditated longer than a couple of hours will know this for a fact, that you literally start to see pulses of waves and energy. Your body gets into this circumference of peace, and you start to feel and see waves of energy around you. I've been in a heightened meditation when I've gotten past 2 hours, and I would be able to see the sounds that are coming. So if it was cars on the road in front of me, I would be able to tell the shape of the car as it passed because the sound would wrap around the car. And being in meditation for a certain amount of time, it allows you to do these particular things. Ultimately, that works for different people in different ways. This is the light shining through you, magnifying through you in a certain way. All energy comes from the universe. It comes all the way through the universe, through the planets and everything that's going out there. When you turn yourself on, that's you grounding and you're meditating in the open to the universe. Majority of the time, I like to get directly in the sun because that energy is coming straight down and is being particularly magnified through the sun at that moment. So that's when you want to get it at its height. But then at certain times of the day, the sun is training the sky. So you have like that 4 to 5 hours in the morning from like 6 to like 11. And then when around from 11 to 12, 12 to like uh was it 12 to like 3:30, you want to like let that time rest. And if you're able to, again, from like 3:30 until sunset, when the sun is gone, you meditate that time and directly in the sun. If you can do that, you're gonna rise a level of consciousness, awareness, and spirituality in yourself amongst any other thing that you can do. That's going to be the basis. How it turns on in you, the longer you do it, seven times, seven times, seven times, seven. I started out doing it 7 minutes. That's how I was able to break into it. But after I got to 7 hours in a day, that was crazy. And then being able to do that 7 hours in a day for 7 weeks straight, 7 months straight, things started happening. When I hit 7 years, it was a whole nother level. So just to give you the understanding that this is important, meditation is important. It's important for spirituality because spirituality spirituality is not just electrical currents that you can't see. I mean, you put more faith in grabbing the dial on the radio. You put way more faith in that. But it does particularly the same thing. The dial on the radio when you're in your car and you're pressing the button and you're trying to get the particular station. What you're doing is you're putting a frequency to your car, so therefore you can hear a particular sound. Well, you're a higher antenna. The type of antenna you are, you're a universal antenna. So what's happened is you've been corroded. You're corroded with the options of living, how you put things in your body, salt, sugars, and etc. The plant life will help to clean the acidity off of these particular antennas that are built inside your body. This is why we incorporate a high plant based diet. And if you have to incorporate some other form of eating, you have to have an understanding of how to flush your body out at the highest potential, which can get difficult over a period of time of you eating the same consistent situations that are not good for you. Understanding that to get in true meditation, you have to have every level in yourself even, as above, so below. So your eating levels and your spiritual level has to be on the same. Your mental level and your action levels have to be on the same. When you have these imbalances, you're going to tell when you try to sit down and do it, you're not going to have the focus because it's going to be something pulling at you. That's telling you what you need to work on. Okay. So just what I was saying before about the radio station. The radio station is the universe in that aspect. And people are dialing in to listen to whatever new music is coming in on whatever in particular station. Well, you have this power in stillness, and you can pull from the universe and strengthen yourself in ways unknown to man. This is what people are terribly afraid of. You understanding the possibilities and the usages of the fact that you are connected to the universe. And the fact that you're connected to the universe is telltale sign of how strong you particularly can be. You're looking around you and you see extensions of yourself, the value of what you're capable of doing. The telephone, the TV, the flight, the motion, the speed, the flow. You know what I'm saying? The pressure. You see all these energies around you, the force. You see all these energies around you, and you look outside yourself like, wow, look what's happening. No, these are the same things that are inside of you. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm talking to you this way, you'll say, well, he's talking that mysticism and that crazy and all this, all what? This is reality. It's the same thing outside of you. But because you need it convenient, convenient, con, the con. You know what I'm saying? Why I need to calm myself out of something that I can do if I just adjust to myself and understand what that is. We do it in small, minute ways. Everybody does. How many times you've been in the house with somebody, one of your family members, don't matter what your culture is, you've been sitting there with someone and you've been talking about Stan, Steve, Bobby, Michaela, Marcus, or whoever. You talking about all of them. And what happens? One of them calls. You're like, we was just talking about you. You're going to live for a long time. That's connecting to that energy source. It happens all the time, but you'll downplay that as, ooh. Nah, how you going to downplay reality? Those little telltale signs are showing you what you're capable of doing. And that's because of the connections that we have in our bloodstreams with individual people. You have the same metallic reason with some people that you're connected to. And because that metallic reason, there's always electrical functions that are happening that you can't see. Just like the radio in the car, you can't see it, but it's always there. This is why you feel certain things like, oh my God, I think somebody in my family's hurt. or something happened, I feel something, or I feel something about to happen. Like these are electrical currents you're picking up on. Isn't that telling you to strengthen it though? If you can pick up on something small, wouldn't be the next thought would be, how do I make that strong enough to where I get the signal clear? Like I'll make this up. It's just reality. You know what I'm saying? Like to understand the fact of what you're doing strengthens and magnifies the value of what you're pulling in. Eventually, you might just pull in the whole universe. Just think about it. You might just pull in the whole universe. What will happen? Happen then? Who knows? You know why? Because the understanding of the value. We beat down every reality. Oh no, that's crazy. I can't. How do you? Well, I'm just saying, if that's crazy, how do you explain other inadmissible things that just happen innately around? You're like, I stay away from that. You can't stay away from it. It's you. It's always going to be you. Now think about this, and I'm gonna leave you with this before I got to go work on the second part of this. Every existence experiences things. The only person who can explain your existence is the person who's standing in your existence. Not even the person who steps in the same spot after you leave can explain what you was going through because you in that particular time can only delegate what you saw. So, how do you change the understanding of truth to the value, right, of saying what's crazy in your own existence opposed to what you should do? What you should do as far as focusing on yourself. This is your existence when you seeing these little things happen. Not nobody else world, but we quick to go run tell somebody what we saw. Like we want them to validate our existence. How can someone validate your existence? You looking at it. So the time we living in now is not to go run fast and go tell everything you see. Is comprehend it first. Understand the connection of the value of why you even seeing it. And if you seeing it, that must mean you got work to do. I ain't gonna hold you. It's incremental science 22. I'll be back at y'all with 22B. All right, deuces.
I thought the mic was on. You already know the vibes. That is incremental science. I am Naga, Naga the Wise. I'll be back at y'all. I don't know if it's a 22B or not. It might be 22B. I don't know if it is or not. But if it ain't, I'll be back with 23 and 24. We're going to keep this thing going. I'll probably do another upload in the morning or maybe later on. But you know how I do. It's Naga, man. I ain't trying to hold you. I'm just trying to show you something. One.